Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. It is Thursday, the 13th of February, 2025. We're here, abbreviated, and I like to call this the rapid fire right portion of the show. No Jim tonight.
We don't have Big Jim, but this is Little Jim.
We have micro-sized Jim.
It's actually Luigi, but tonight he's Little Jim.
Yeah, we got Little Jimmy.
We do have a Little Jimmy.
He gonna get got. Jim out tonight. Had some things come up. He may or may not be battling a severe case of indigestion. I don't want to spread any rumors. Make sure you get your hearts checked out. That's where I'll leave that one. As I try to get myself adjusted here. Both myself and Joe back from seeing the new Captain America. Spoiler free here. We won't spoil anything for you. I enjoyed it. Carol enjoyed it.
It was alright.
Joe fell asleep during it, so he has to wait for it to come out on Redbox.
Nah, I didn't miss that much. It was alright. It was So okay, not spoiler. Mm-hmm. I feel like this counts as a not spoiler. I didn't even think of this one myself. I read it somewhere after getting out of the movie. I was reading like some reviews and stuff. My favorite thing that I saw someone say was that they felt kind of cheated that they were duped into watching an Incredible Hulk sequel masking as a Captain America movie.
My non-spoiler takeaway is necessary step for the next chapter in the series.
So I don't disagree with you, but here, okay, without getting too far into this, because we're here to talk wrestling.
Yes.
I do a movie podcast for the movie stuff. I understand as a sports fan what a rebuilding season is. I do. I'm a Jets fan. I really understand. They've been rebuilding for 40 seasons. I get it. But Marvel has also been rebuilding now for about 5 years, and at a certain point, it's like, yo, guys, like, it's got to be rebuilt already, or what are we doing?
I'm sorry, you're a Jets fan.
Not anymore. I renounce.
Don't worry. When the next team, Josh Allen, leaves there and they suck for the next 10 years, then we'll do this all over again. All right, let's get to the show. Because of everything that happened, I did not finish scoring fantasy wrestling this week, and because Jim's not here, I don't really think it's fair to add or drop anybody from our rosters, even though there are some big shows coming up this weekend. So I will make the formal ruling here.
You okay? Hey. Yeah, no, you're on mute.
Oh, all right. Let's try again.
There you go.
Yeah, no. My headphones in my microphone for some reason just keep not in all the way.
Oh, okay.
So when it falls out, it just cuts all the audio. So I'm just talking. So there was probably a good solid dead point of this show where no one was saying anything.
No, pretty much.
So I'm gonna make the formal decision as the guy who brought the Fantasy Wrestling League into to say that we'll just end this week with the same rosters. And we'll just move forward into next week. We will do Wrestlers of the Week at the end of the show. We have 2 previews, and then we have a topic because last Friday there was some releases post our show. So obviously we'll talk about them. So let's do one of the previews, then we'll talk the releases, then we'll wrap the show up with a preview. Do you want to start with Aussie, 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 oi, 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 or Vengeance Day?
Either way.
All right, let's start with the NXT one. No, you know what? The NXT one's probably better. Let's start with the AEW one.
Yes, the AEW one.
Let's get this shit out the way. 5 matches coming to you from the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. They call it Center. I call it Centre because it's got an extra E at the end. About the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, it holds 13,601. This was not the original venue for this show at first. It
Were they supposed to be in a bigger place or a smaller place?
bigger.
So how many of this 13,000 are they even selling?
It was originally supposed to be at the Suncorp Stadium, which will hold 52,000 people. But on November 25th, it was reported that AEW would be moving it because of how low the ticket sales were. The new venue holds 13,500. Let me go to Wrestle Tips.
That's a pretty big difference.
Well, when you're not able to fucking move anything, what do you expect?
Is this their first time going to Australia?
I believe so. So according to our rusty, trusty friend over at WrestleTix, because that's kind of what I use for that is Phoenix. So that's Vengeance Day. Slammiversary from Belmont Park, New York. It does not actually have Grand Slam on here. So I really have no way of knowing. It does have Vengeance Day on there, so yeah, I don't know. This is not cool, bro. It normally has everything. That's why I went to my old rusty trusty. But obviously, if they went from a 50,000 seat venue to a fairly smaller,
that's not a good sign.
No, 13,000 seat venue. Not great, Bob.
No, it's not. They obviously were expecting making a debut in another country being a big deal the same way the first couple of all-ins in London were, and it's just not there.
Yeah, this show will take place after All-Star coverage. Because All-Star weekend for the NBA is this weekend. Was originally supposed to be at 8 o'clock, looking more at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock now.
Will it be live?
No, this has to be via tape delay.
That's what I thought.
So if you want to know what the results are, you could probably find them out. It'll be filmed at 5:30 p.m. Australian time, which is like 2:30 a.m. our time. So it'll probably be recorded technically tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All right, so let's run it over real quick. 5 matches. We'll start with the AEW TBS Championship. It is the CEO Mercedes Moné taking on Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron posted a really funny video where she like singing to like Mercedes entrance music, and I started listening to like the beat of the song.
Okay.
And it reminds me of the Imperium theme song whenever they were just coming in. Dun, 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 dun,
Okay.
dun, 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 dun. It sounded like that.
Okay.
Just with like remixed with a cool beat with the CEO stuff in the background. I was trying to figure out what it was. I'll send you the video so you can listen to it. I don't know if that's actually her entrance music or not, but whatever she was recording to reminded me of that.
Okay.
I don't think there's a shot in hell that Harley Cameron wins this match. So, Moné.
Which is disappointing because she really is probably been one of my favorite things on Dynamite the last like 3 weeks. Like, I almost wish she'd win the match, but you're right. There's no shot.
I wish she would, even if it's just via like a flash roll up and then loses the title back to her on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
just because Tony Khan do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Because every champion's had 100+ day reigns with every title belt that they've had, with the exception of Private Party with the tag titles just now. And I think that was
honestly, too, like Strike While the Iron's hot. Like she's actually
fans
in
love
a
her.
show that hasn't had a lot of positives lately. She's unequivocally a positive. Everyone who watches this has said, okay, but Harley Cameron though, Harley Cameron.
Yeah.
I want to keep saying Harley Quinn, and that's not right.
Nope.
But like, definitely been a highlight in everybody's eyes.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's why, if you're gonna do it, now's the time. But I don't think that Tony has the balls to do it. I think Tony's gonna make sure that Mercedes comes out of Australia with the belt and tries to make her an even bigger star on the international scene. Next up for the AEW Continental Championship, it's the champion Kazuchika Okada taking on, from the Hounds of Hell, Buddy Matthews.
Is Buddy also Australian?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's not gonna win.
No shot.
No.
I don't know how somebody has less than 1% chance of winning, but Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, he's in the wrong company. He should be in the company his wife is in.
It'd be pretty good, but womp womp.
Yeah, no shot.
Yeah, Okada retains. Next up, we have a Brisbane Brawl. Switchblade Jay White and the Rated R superstar Cope taking on the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli and the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley.
Right. So, I'm not mad at the match. I actually think on paper this sounds like it'll be an entertaining match.
It's Anarchy in the Arena Tag Edition.
It's going to be entertaining. It's well done in that regard.
You can't have FTR there because I don't think the one member of FTR can travel from his arrest from like 2 years ago.
That sounds right. And honestly, I'm into Jay White is a star. You know, Edge is a star. Obviously, Cope, whatever. His name makes me unreasonably mad. Calling him Cope feels like that thing when a guy gets released from WWE and then is working in like high school auditoriums and can't use his actual name. So he uses something that's like ridiculously close, but not close enough.
Ledge.
You know, huh?
He should have went by Ledge.
Yeah, no, I still say he should have done that, or Hedge or something. But you know, it's like when Gene Snitsky was suddenly on the indie scene and he was going by Snatsky, or like Fandango going by Dirty Dango or whatever. That's what it's giving. And when you're doing that in a high school gym, it's whatever. But when you're doing that in what's supposed to be the number 2 wrestling company in the world, it's kind of corny and stupid. So that unreasonably gets me angry from the start. But also, too, this Jon Moxley and Adam Copeland storyline is the complete and utter shits. I hate it. So, on paper, I'm excited for this match because I do think that they'll put on an entertaining match. And the same thing with the match coming up at Revolution for the world title. On paper, I'm like, yeah, this will be great. But knowing the storyline going in, I'm like, okay. Anyway, I do think Jay White and Cope are going to win the match.
2 hours ago, while we were inside of the movie, it was announced that TNA Wrestling will have their Unbreakable show Thursday, April 17th from the Cox Pavilion in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, as part of WrestleMania weekend.
Yes.
So shout out to them. Wanted to hit that. Yeah, this feud sucks. It sucks out loud.
It's bad.
The Death Riders suck. They suck out loud. It had so much potential, and we've talked about it, but
I need people to understand, right? The main storyline on Dynamite this week was about how Edge stole this briefcase in one of the goofiest looking segments. They were just walking, and you're telling me they couldn't see this person standing there with a chair? Who's Edge? It was.
I think it was Jay White that had the chair. To be fair.
whoever it was, they came so out of like right
He's a
there
switchblade.
that it looked like, how did you miss this?
He's a switchblade. He was hiding inside the rest of the knife.
So
That would be the logic that Tony Khan would use.
All I'm saying though is this story, the storyline on Wednesday was Edge got control of the briefcase and was threatening to break it open unless Jon Moxley gave him a title match. And Jon Moxley wanted so badly for that briefcase to not be opened that he agreed to give him a title match. Like, that is the dumbest fucking thing.
There's no way the title belt's in that. I mean, I will say this.
It is too small.
It is, 100%. I will say this. For the first time in his professional wrestling career, Adam Copeland was not able to cash in Money in the Bank successfully. He did not leave with the title on that night, but he did leave with a future title shot because the briefcase was stolen before he was able to cash it in. Thanks, Marina Shafir. This storyline sucks.
It's bad. It's bad.
You could have gone with any other way to get to this match. Because when Rated FTR came out, that was the storyline off rip, was that it was always going to be Edge versus Moxley at Revolution.
Right from the start, yeah.
So the fact that this is how we got there, this sucks out loud.
Yep.
This is awful. What you should have done is you should have made this Brisbane brawl where Cope or Jay White is going to fight him at Revolution, and then have Cope and Jay White take each other on in a match on Dynamite on Wednesday, and you could have had the winner of that take on Moxley in 2 weeks at Revolution, and I'd have been like, wow, at least it fucking made sense. At least it would have been good. I mean, I'm not going to say it would have been great, but a Jay White versus Adam Copeland match would have been fun on an episode of Dynamite. It'd have been a fine television main event.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean, we're getting the Hurt Syndicate retaining the titles in 14 minutes against the Gun Club, and you don't think that Adam Copeland and Jay White would probably be better?
Yeah, no, you could have fun with that. That would have been there's like you said, it's not the end place that we don't like. It's how we got there. Exactly. It's the stupidest storyline, and it's almost like when you're trying to do something creative and you're trying too hard and it stops being creative and just doesn't make sense.
Correct.
And I don't know if it's the talent themselves that are like coming up with the storylines, and there's a reason why you have writers and producers and all that stuff in like WWE coming, like refining at the very least, like all these elements, or if it's Tony Khan coming up with this stuff and he's just that level of bad, but it's bad. Like, it's just bad.
Not great, Bob.
No.
All right. I will also take a damn Copeland and Jay White to be victorious. Tag match, dream tag match. The match that will probably main event this show, even though I don't think it should main event this show. I think this should probably open the show. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, I don't see a world where Ospreay and Omega don't win on a special show in Australia, like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, that just this is the one where the local wins. You know what I mean? Like Buddy Murphy not winning, Harley Cameron not winning. You got to have one of them win, right?
Jay White, he's New Zealand.
Yeah, true. And Ospreay's close enough also. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
I mean, hold on. Is Kyle Fletcher from... Where's Kyle Fletcher from? He's Australian.
Oh, shit. Okay, he might win then.
I don't think Kenny loses his return match, though.
He hasn't wrestled the match yet?
I don't think he's wrestled the match in AEW since he came back.
Huh. Then, yeah, no, he's not losing.
Let me double check, because that will definitely skew my decisions here.
No, I think you're right, because he's only been back for like 3 weeks. Or did he fight Brian Cage?
Did he have a match against Cage? I don't remember.
He might have had a match against Cage, which I'm sure he won.
Kenny Omega. He did wrestle Brian Cage at Maximum Carnage Night 1, which where he was victorious.
Yeah.
His only other match that he's had was the match against Gabe Kidd at Dynasty in January.
Mm.
All right, so maybe Kenny does lose. But god damn, man, like this is my issue. Like Takeshita has 2 title belts right now, one in New Japan, one in AEW. And like we're talking about, like there's no way he's taking the fall here. So we're gonna have the Australian eat the fall, or we're gonna have Kenny and Will Ospreay lose a major match on a huge show like this. That they're okay. In their words, huge, not ours. Let's be very transparent about that.
Yeah, no, it's an episode of Collision.
Collision on steroids.
Yeah. It's giving Battle of the Belts when we thought that was actually going to be a big deal.
Oh god.
You remember when they duped us with that?
Yeah, Clash of the Champions called. They want their gimmick back.
Yeah.
Something tells me something's gonna happen with the Don Callis family here. Give me Takeshita and Fletcher. Maybe it's the Omega and Ospreay haven't tagged before and they just can't get on the same page or something. And I don't know. Something feels like this. Something weird's gonna happen.
Because I gotta say, I do feel like if AEW, well, they're not smart, but even not being smart, they have to know that the money match out of all of this. I mean, granted, like, look, any of these 4 guys in a combination of singles matches is a money match. You're putting on pay-per-view, or
I mean, you've already put Ospreay versus Fletcher in a predominant place on a pay-per-view.
Yeah. And Kenny's been gone for so long, he hasn't gotten into the ring with any of these guys. So like, there's a lot of potential there. But you got to think long term, Ospreay versus Omega at some point down the road, and I think it's far down the road. Like, I think, maybe that's an all-in match. You know what I mean? In London, maybe that's something they try to go in that direction.
They're not in London this year. They're in Dallas.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they were in Dallas. Well, still though, like that could be something that maybe you try to do for like that kind of show.
What if you push it off even further and you do Wrestle Dynasty in Japan and you do Omega versus Ospreay in January of next year?
You totally could. But I definitely think you got
That's the money match no matter where they do it at.
So if they're doing it, but if they were to go in that direction and not do it for like a year basically, then it doesn't matter if they lose here. They probably win at that point.
Correct.
Yeah, I think Omega and Ospreay are gonna win this one.
They probably should, but the way that they do shit with the Don Callis family, Tony Khan will find a way to fuck this up. It's my lack of confidence in him.
It's earned. You're not wrong.
All right, and last but certainly not least, the match that should main event this show, but probably will not main event this show. For the All Elite Wrestling Women's Championship, it is the champion, the Glamour, Mariah May, taking on Timeless Toni Storm.
Okay, who's the Australian in the match?
I believe they both might have a little Australian in them.
Oh.
Mariah May is actually from England.
Okay.
She's from London. Timeless Toni Storm is from Auckland, New Zealand.
Do you think Toni Storm's going to win the title back here? I feel like it's too soon.
Are we sure it's too soon?
So the reasons why I feel like it's too soon, and this isn't any kind of condemning on Toni Storm. I love her. She's amazing. Number one, they just brought the character back like a matter of a couple of weeks ago. It's not even been a month. You literally just came back to this character and what you can do with it. And on top of that, I really like Mariah May, and I think her title reign is going really well. I don't see a good reason for ending that right now just because, hey, Toni Storm is back. That is the main reason why, I'd almost rather see, a dusty finish and something that gets us to, the next match with these two, as opposed to just seeing Toni Storm win the belt, and then it's all right, they have another match, maybe the belt goes back and forth again. Like, I don't need that, but I don't know. Like, I'm not ready to see Mariah May lose the belt yet.
Mariah May, as of this recording, has the 4th longest title run in AEW women's title history. Sorry, she has the 5th longest.
How many champions have there even been?
She is the 13th women's champion.
Huh.
Hikaru Shida has the longest, 372. Britt Baker at 290. Timeless Toni Storm at 281. Jamie Hayter at 190. And then Mariah May at 173. She just passed Thunder Rosa. So what I'll say here is while she's had a long feud, it is not, or a long reign, it's not been a memorable reign. The memorable moment of it was beating Timeless Toni Storm back at All In London for the title. She's then defeated Nyla Rose, Yuka Sakazaki, Willow Nightingale, Anna Jay twice, Mina Shirakawa, and then Thunder Rosa in a Tijuana street fight that I don't even know how the fuck we got there. So what I'll say here, I don't necessarily know that it's not, quote, too early to end this title run, but I feel like if she loses it the first time Toni gets a rematch, it puts a black eye on her title run.
Yeah.
174 days. It'll end up being like 176 by the time the show actually goes on the air. It's quite impressive for a 26-year-old who, when she came over, not a lot of people knew who she was.
Right.
But I think she has to have the first win against Toni Storm.
I agree completely. I also still think that Toni Storm at this point is so much of a bigger character that she doesn't need the belt. And taking the belt off of Mariah's a great character also, like genuinely doing some great character work besides her in-ring work.
Mm-hmm.
But it still helps her stand out and be something special by having this belt on her, like it does elevate her in a way that she wouldn't be right now.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. And plus, I think at this point you have to address your women's division and you have to go, okay, we're about to have a feud with Megan Bain and Chris Statlander. It looks like that should be fun.
Yeah.
Two hosses kicking each other's asses. That should be fun. But like Mariah May doesn't have anywhere to go after Toni Storm. Except for Toni Storm.
True.
So them just flip-flopping the titles around for the next 3 months until you finally decide to dust the bottle off of Britt Baker or bring back Thunder Rosa or Willow Nightingale or Hikaru Shida or whoever it is at this point. But Tony Khan has never been the flippy-floppy guy. He's always been this is my champion. They're going to be my champion. I don't think it changes here.
Yeah.
Give me Mariah May to retain the title. I think, like Joe said, dusty finish. Maybe this is where Mariah May gets some help. Maybe this is where you align her with someone.
Is there like a big girl running around somewhere, like a heater?
Megan Bain?
Yeah, but I mean, they have her doing her own thing, which I kind of like. Like, is there someone else in AEW? It doesn't have to be a name. Obviously, it doesn't be anyone that we know, but just anyone they have signed that could kind of work as like kind of what Raquel's doing for Liv Morgan.
Let me guess. Let me take a look at the roster real quick while we're.
Is there a female Wardlow? Can we just put Wardlow in a wig?
Well, I mean, we tried it, but we also then had her get taken out after Mercedes Moné fired her in our good friend.
Sheba? What was her name?
Camille?
That one. Is there a Sheba? There should be a Sheba.
I mean, there probably is a female wrestler named Sheba. What if...
I'm pretty sure the female wrestler named Sheba was in that card game, the app one.
Yep, probably.
Yeah.
What if... But here's the thing. What if it's not a female?
Like, who else would you have in mind?
So say Tony brings back Luther, who's
Oh,
her
he
butler.
turns on her?
No, what if someone takes Luther out, which
Okay.
distracts Tony, which allows Mariah to hit Mayday, and that's how she retains?
I mean, that's doable.
And I mean, it doesn't have to be anybody serious, like you said. It doesn't have to be the fucking Darby Allins of the world or the Chris Jerichos of the world. It could be somebody.
Somebody who's doing nothing, which they have plenty of.
I mean,
in
it could be something as simple as Nick Wayne from the Patriarchy.
Yeah,
they're not really doing anything with those guys right now.
Yeah, no, it's completely valid. Listen, there's like 100 people in that company. You can throw a dart backstage and just pick somebody.
I mean, you could use any member of the Don Callis family.
Yeah.
I mean, Don Callis likes to acquire talent for his accompaniment. I'm literally looking like, to be fair, she could almost Brody King, Buddy Matthews with the Hounds of Hell. You know, I mean, I think they're kind of set with Julia, but I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else that like stands out that hasn't been around in the last like month or two that'd be like, oh shit. If they came back and like helped her, like,
is there anyone Australian?
Saraya would be a fun one.
That would work for the market.
Saraya would be a fun name. That's really about it. I mean, it's. I mean, if Sky Blue was cleared, I would say maybe her.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's cleared yet. What if it's just fucking Wardlow?
It could be. What is he doing? He ain't doing nothing.
He was part of the Undisputed Kingdom, but then, like, pretty sure he just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
He lost his world title match to Samoa Joe at Big Business in March of last year, and has not been in a match since.
Yeah.
I can only assume that he's hurt. But he is also 37 years old. Let's see. His last tweet was June 5th of 2004.
Oh my god. So, okay. Totally unrelated to AEW. Do we have any other? Is that it for the show? For AEW?
Yeah, that's it. That's it for.
Okay. So I got this email today. Okay. You might have gotten it too.
I don't know. I didn't check my email today.
Okay. So then I'm going to just read this to you. I'm going to read this to you. Okay. It's a new. I know you haven't gotten your WrestleMania tickets yet, so this might be a deal that you want to jump on. Okay. It is. I got this email, and the headline is Meet Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 41. All right, you ready? I'm just going to read the email to you, okay? WrestleMania 41 just got even more superstar studded. Hulk Hogan is joining us inside the Real American Suite. Secure your Real American Suite by the Seat Priority Pass package. And then there's a button that says "Be There, Brother." And if you click on the link, it tells you everything that you'll get and the price. Okay, so you ready for this?
Oh boy!
All right. So with this package, this is what you receive. Okay, you receive WrestleMania Real American Suite by the Seat. So you enjoy both nights of WrestleMania from the comfort of your reserved seat in a premium luxury suite in the stadium. So you're not like it's not a great view, but I guess you get good food. All-inclusive food and beverages. That's kind of cool. Hulk Hogan in-suite appearance. That is right. Hulk Hogan will be there doing a meet and greet with an authentic Hulk Hogan championship belt photo opportunity. You will receive exclusive Hulk Hogan themed souvenir upon arrival at your suite. There's a Top Golf event with The Miz somehow involved in this. I guess Hulk didn't want to do Top Golf.
It's too hot, brother.
It's too warm in Vegas for him for Top Golf. Priority pass to WWE World and Superstore access, which includes a dedicated entrance, express checkout, and a 3-day ticket to WWE World with priority pass fast lane access. A dedicated entrance at the arena so that nobody knows you're going to hang out with Hulk Hogan. And professional on-location, on-site support staff. Okay? So for all that, for the opportunity to get to hang out with a racist while you watch Roman Reigns fight somebody, okay? How much do you think this costs?
For both nights or just a night?
It's a per-person cost. So it's covering both nights.
I'm gonna say 7,500.
Okay. Higher.
12,000.
Lower.
$9,567.
Unfortunately, if this was Price is Right rules, you'd lose. It is $9,500 a person.
So,
but for that money, you get a photo op with the Thermit. You know what I mean? So
I mean, and for absolutely free, you can go to Guanabana's Waterfront Bar in Jupiter on Wednesday, February 19th, and have a launch of Real American beer with Hulk Hogan.
You could do that. That is
for
cheaper.
Free.
It's such a weird tone deaf thing to me that like in this day and age when Hulk Hogan literally got booed out of the building, he's people are gonna pay $9,500 to just sit in a suite with him and take some photo ops. Like that's what are we doing?
Pass.
Yeah, exactly. Hard pass.
I'd rather sit on the floor than give money to Hulk Hogan. So fuck that guy. All right. So let's get to the biggest news of the week. Somehow it turned into cut day in the National Football League, but wrestling edition. It started Friday afternoon, late Friday evening, as we were in the SmackDown taping, or I guess not taping anymore, but the SmackDown show. Honestly, I don't know how many of them really surprised me, but a couple of them actually did surprise me. The full name of list from WWE will start there, and then we'll get to the other ones. The Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, with Paul Ellering, Cedric Alexander, Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, the Good Brothers, and Elektra Lopez. I guess I'm more surprised at like Sonya Deville because they were actually doing something with the Friction of Relevancy collection or whatever the fuck their name was. But I'm not surprised really at the Authors of Pain. They really weren't doing much with them after the whole Wyatt thing went away. The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson's hurt, so they really haven't been using Luke Gallows. I think I'm more surprised at the women. Davenport and Isla Dawn, who was a tag team champion with Alba Fire, and Elektra Lopez, who was part of Legado del Fantasma. Like, I feel like I'm more surprised about them than I am any of the males that were released. like I said, Sonya with the hyper fixation club, and Isla Dawn part of the tag division. Blair Davenport never got a fair shake on the main roster. It seemed like at some point they were going to try to put her with Nia and Tiffy and Candice LeRae, and then that kind of fell through. I felt like she would have been a perfect person to put in the U.S. or the Intercontinental title picture, because right now, unfortunately, on SmackDown, all we really feel like we have is Michin and Chelsea Green. So I would have thought that would have been a thought process there. Giovanni Vinci, ever since he got kicked out of Imperium, really haven't been doing much with him. I thought that was a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know.
So to me, the bigger question is it's not so much about the who was released, maybe more so the where do we see them going from here? Because in this day and age, I feel like, especially being a former WWE talent, you're gonna land somewhere. Maybe not for all of them, though.
I mean, looking at the, I mean, if you're Isla Dawn, you're probably going back over to England.
Possibly.
Blair Davenport is married to Riley Osborne, former member of Chase U, who's still signed to NXT. So she probably stays in the country. I could see her end up in being more in like TNA, like them using her and like, oh look, she can come over every once in a while for NXT if you really want her, but like she's going to be paid by TNA. Elektra Lopez, maybe she ends up in like MLW or something like that. The Good Brothers, I think, go back to Japan. Evil just kicked the War Dogs out of Bullet Club, so maybe we get a rebirth of them being in Bullet Club. I don't give a fuck where the Authors of Pain go. Put them in NWA for all I give a fuck, because I don't watch NWA and they don't do anything for me. Obviously, I think Cedric's going to end up in AEW with the Hurt Syndicate. I think they're going to get that fully back together, and I think that makes a ton of sense. Just for him to get lost in the shuffle 2.5 weeks into it, because that's what Tony Khan does. Sorry, I like Cedric, but I'm just rolling off of what Tony does. And then like Sonya Deville, like I don't think she should go to AEW. I don't know where she goes. I think she's the real wild card here.
She's probably the release that surprised me the most, and from WWE at least, because she's been on TV on a weekly basis. She's been part of a group that at least has some level of purpose. They're not, they haven't been failing. They even had some cool moments in the Women's Royal Rumble match, honestly. So that one seemed weird to me. It almost seemed like I wonder if there's something there that we don't know about. Like maybe she wanted a release, maybe she wasn't. And it always seemed like Sonya Deville was someone who collectively everyone agreed was really, really talented, but she was almost always like a non-starter. Like she had her little moment with Mandy Rose where they were a tag team, but once they broke up, that went nowhere for her. And then it just, and then she was gone for the company for a while, and then she came back, and she's never really done anything of super significance since coming back. So, I really do. Part of me wonders if it was just okay, this isn't going anywhere anyway, so whatever kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know that I see her popping up anywhere either.
Sonya is the only one that I know of that they said they're just not renewing her contract.
Okay.
The rest of them have said they've been released. Everything on Sonya I've seen is just that they're not renewing her contract.
Okay.
So at whatever point that her contract expires, she does not have a no-compete clause like the rest of these people do.
So Sonya's case really could be one where they're just it's not worth the money.
Correct.
Whatever, because she's been around for a hot minute. She's probably making a lot more than a Blair Davenport.
And she's been dinged up. She's had some injuries.
Right.
She was doing the thing where she was the GM because she was hurt.
Right. So this is just a case of this is just a case of a team deciding to move on from a talent.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What you're
Except
gonna
she didn't ruin the entire company while she was there for 2 years.
correct. What you're doing is we're appreciative of it, but we're paying you too much to be there when
Right.
you are there, so we need to move on for our own sake.
Right.
At least that's the vibe that I get, because everything is saying it's just not going to be renewed.
Right. Well, because that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, and like, we don't know how much money she was making. That's not our business.
Correct.
But I would imagine that she was making more than somebody who, at the place that she was in creatively, probably is worth it for the company.
She was probably definitely making more money than Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, and whoever else from the female
Electra
side got
Lopez,
released.
or
Yeah, I would say there's probably a good shot she was ahead of two of them combined.
Right.
Just because she's been there as long as she has been. That's no offense to the other females, but they just didn't have the longevity that Sonya Deville has. And,
Right.
most of the time when a contract comes up, there will be a raise of some sort.
Yes.
So that being said, that's the WWE releases. I guess real quick, where do you see them going? Let's start with the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering.
I don't know. Send them to Puerto Rico. If I never see the Authors of Pain on my TV again, I don't think I'd be mad about it. I mean, it feels kind of like I barely saw them when they were signed with WWE anyway. Even when they were with Karrion Kross. I mean, they had one of the most forgettable matches at WrestleMania last year. It's...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no. So it's kind of that thing where, like, yeah, they could end up in TNA. It wouldn't hurt anything or anybody, but does TNA need them? Does anybody need them? I don't think so.
That's why I think NWA makes sense.
I didn't even know NWA still existed until you said that, to be perfectly honest.
They do, unfortunately for them. Go to Blair Davenport.
So, Blair Davenport, I don't know much about, admittedly. I know the name. I know she's been used enough for me to know who she is in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know her to, like, really judge her talent level. If AEW is serious about making their women's division something different, and Dynamite felt like that. The biggest pro I felt like coming out of Dynamite was that there was a good focus on the women and not the typical women that you always see. It was, it was that Bane woman, and it was, Mariah May and Harley Cameron, and like the people getting spotlight.
You almost called her Harley Quinn again.
I really almost did. It's always going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. There's a focus on some new women, and that's exciting. And, maybe Blair Davenport could fit that into that realm.
Blair Davenport was there.
Was she?
Bea Priestley, former significant other of Will Ospreay, but was released during COVID because she couldn't get over from England. So, Tony Khan does know her. Kenny and them know her. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see her end up back there in some way, shape, or form if she doesn't end up in, like, TNA. So, I wouldn't be surprised there. Isla Dawn.
She's another one that I think she's ending up in AEW or TNA. I just don't know which. But either way, she would be a good addition to either roster.
I agree. Giovanni Vinci.
Man, if I were that guy, and I mean no offense to him whatsoever, he's an attractive man. I would put myself in a mask and I'd create a whole new gimmick and I'd try to get people to forget Giovanni Vinci ever existed. Because
him as Fabian Eichner was fucking fire.
Well, that's the thing. He was fire. When he was in NXT, when he was part of that version of Imperium, he was fire. Him and what's-his-face were a great tag team. Like, everything about that was working. And then they brought him to the main roster. They did a whole lot of nothing with him. And then somehow it got worse. They made it seem like he was going to matter. and then he didn't, and he didn't really, really hard. And so at the end of the day, it's kind of like, all right, it's almost like if he showed up now in AEW or TNA or something, you'd be like, why is this loser here? You know, so that's why I say it's like from a talent perspective, he's got the ability, he's got the talent and all that. So I'd love to see him end up somewhere. But I sort of feel like he's got such a stink on him that you almost have to do it under a hood or in some capacity where it's just totally his character would have to change so much to not remind us of what that WWE run was.
I feel like he'd have to come in and like take somebody out, like seriously, like take like almost the way that Kaiser took him out to kick him out of Imperium. Like he's got to come in and just literally like beat the shit out of someone.
Yeah.
Like if he showed up on next Thursday's episode of TNA and took out Joe Hendry.
Right.
Because him and Hendry could have a great match.
Oh, for sure. He could have a great match with a lot of people.
So like if he came out and literally jumped Hendry that way and like beat the brakes off of him, like I could be like, oh, okay. Let's see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't just show up as like this ruggedly good-looking guy and cut a promo and be like, I am Martel Bartel or whatever the fuck he wants to call himself. But like he can't show up and be Giovanni by Elegance, the brother of Ash and Heather by Elegance in fucking TNA. Because you'll just be like, wow, this guy still sucks.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think we know Cedric Alexander. I think the fast track there is AEW.
Yeah, that seems like the most home run, obvious where that man is going.
Well, you say that, but the most obvious release to move somewhere else happened Tuesday night inside of an NXT ring when absolute Ricky Starks showed up at NXT.
Did you hear the thing where apparently that all happened so quickly that they didn't even officially have the name for sure, and they didn't have any merchandise, so they didn't even refer to him by name on the show in any capacity, just in case they don't go with Ricky Starks as his name.
Fucking fire! I love it.
He was able to legitimately do the Scott Hall, like, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. Like, I don't have to say my name. You know who I am.
They started chanting. He's like, you know who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. He's going to be a fucking star.
Oh, 110%.
I know a lot of people were like, oh, I don't know who's taking the title off of Obafemi. Figured it out. It's Ricky Starks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Ricky Starks in a fucking landslide. Don't care when, don't care who. It's time for absolute Ricky Starks.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Ginger. Hello, sir. My cat's hanging out with me right now, as you guys can see on the camera, and he's just going to walk in front of me. Thanks, bud.
That's what cats do.
Your cat tree. Go get your cat
being a cat.
Yep. Cream of cat soup.
Ricky Starks. So, okay, the difference between the AEW releases and the WWE releases, in a quick nutshell. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There were less AEW releases.
But more impactful releases?
But so much more impactful in terms of the names.
Especially if all three of them end up in WWE.
And I feel like there's a really good chance that they all will, because they're like that level of big. I mean, we're talking about Ricky Starks, who's already there. Literally, the envelope, the fucking envelope wasn't even done being sticky by the time that he got into the new company. Yeah. Who else was released in AEW?
Aleister Black.
Aleister Black, who it feels like they're literally setting up a storyline for him already to come back over WWE.
Which storyline do you think it is? Because I think there's one of two that makes sense.
The Chad Gable one.
See, I don't think it's that one.
Okay.
I think it's the Judgment Day. And I think he probably takes Finn Balor out, and it's going to end up being Dominic, Malachi, Raquel, Carlito, Liv Morgan. I think that's the route they go. Finn goes face, gets kicked out of the Judgment Day, and it's Finn Balor versus Malachi Black.
Okay.
Finn and AJ kind of coalition of the old Bullet Club leaders to try to beat them. I think that's the route that goes. Miro is the dark horse here because he could come back or he could just go do some other stuff. But like, I don't know if he's healthy.
Because he was out of the ring in AEW for a significantly long time, which isn't uncommon in AEW, but
5 ever.
Like, he could have been injured. Like, his last match in AEW was against Andrade. That's how long ago he last wrestled in AEW.
At 2023 World's End.
Yep.
So almost a year, so like 14 months ago.
Yeah. And he has not been in the ring, and we don't know if it's injury or what.
No clue.
What I would say with Miro is, I think out of all of these guys, if there was a likelihood of one of them showing up in TNA,
correct,
it's Miro, and I could see him, like, he's a guy that could fight for the world title. He could feud with Joe Hendry. He could, like, and you could have him then appear over in WWE and, you know, have the crossover right there.
Well, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's going to be him and Lana. I don't think that's a thing, bud.
No, I'm pretty sure they're divorced and don't like each other. Like,
well, I don't know about the not liking each other part, but they're definitely divorced, so I don't know how much work they'll want to do together. So that's why I'm like, I think Miro could come back. I think Miro could be, I think Miro could be a thorn in the side of Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, him and Sheamus had great matches together, together and against each other. So like, all of those are options. He could come in and automatically fight Shinsuke Nakamura, who he is part of like the League of Nations with.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't know if Shinsuke was in that, but the Un-American thing that they tried to do with him and Sheamus and Del Rio, I think may have been in it. I don't
Del Rio and Wade Barrett.
Well, that was the League of Nations, but I don't think that was Miro in that.
No,
I thought he was in a faction with.
He was in the League of Nations. Involved in that.
He was in the League of Nations. I'm looking at it right now. Him, Del Rio, Sheamus, and Barrett.
Yeah.
Wow. CageMatch.net has that as a 2.55 out of 10. Okay,
sure.
AKA, it sucked out loud.
I mean, it kind of did.
It really did. So Miro sounds like I think Miro's the one where we're like, okay, he's the wild card that could end up almost anywhere.
Yeah.
I think we both agree that Black will end up back in WWE in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, Ricky Starks is already there. Do we think anyone else is going to get released?
I've heard that they're finally trying to get Ray Phoenix set away.
Finally cleared from the contract hold.
Yeah, like there was, and again, this is, you know, you take it with a grain of salt because who knows who's actually in the room reporting these things, right? But I read something where basically someone in Tony Khan's ear is just like, let's get this done and move on, as opposed to keeping this guy hostage because it's just not a good look for us.
No, it's a terrible look. It is terrible look for you, sir.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. And one last release to cover, and this guy isn't ending up anywhere. But Josh Matthews is gone from TNA.
Oh, did they actually release him?
Yep.
When the fuck that happened?
Earlier today, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. It was either today or yesterday, but I definitely read it as being like an official. They've announced he gone.
That's interesting. I'm looking on. Who gives a shit? That's what I'm looking on. Josh Alexander had his final match in TNA today.
Josh Alexander's gone from TNA?
Yeah, he's gonna test free agency.
Oh shit.
AKA, I think he ends up in WWE.
WWE?
But that's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenta signed with Pro Wrestling Noah today.
I love that for him, I guess. Is he not working New Japan anymore?
I don't know. They've kind of been working together, so maybe. How do you feel about this new Evolve show?
Wait, which one is this? Is this the one where it's almost like Tough Enough, or is this the one where it's just
No, Evolve. Evolve is not Legends Future Greats. That's
okay.
That's the A&E show that is like Tough Enough.
That one looks interesting.
I mean, I'll probably watch it.
Evolve is just what, another brand?
So Evolve is going to basically be
NXT Level Up?
Well, like, yes, but no, because I feel like, and I was listening to one of the podcasts, and they were like, why the hell doesn't NXT just be the third brand at this point again? You got enough talent, just let them be the third brand, and let's use Evolve as like the developmental, where you get the guys who aren't on TV time.
Right.
Not a terrible idea.
No, not at all. I mean, kind of at this point, NXT is the third brand at this point. You know what I mean? Like they're on network television. They're the only one that's on network television, other than like Saturday Night's Main Event once every couple of months. They're getting really strong ratings. They're beating AEW in ratings. Like, I don't know. In my mind, NXT has reached a point where it's the third brand again. It's not really as developmental as it used to be.
So, according to Mike Johnson and Sean Ross Sapp, it was Josh Matthews, Christy Hemme, and President Anthony Ciccone are all leaving TNA.
Heard. I don't know who that last one is, but heard.
He's been the president basically since I think when they got rid of Scott D'Amore.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of nuts.
You want to rapidly go through
NXT Vengeance Day.
Let's do it.
All right, 6 matches. First up, a strap match between Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams.
Let's go, Trick Williams.
I hope he whoops that trick with the strap. Next up, a singles match that will see Javon Evans take on All Ego Ethan Page.
You know, I love me some Ethan Page, but I feel like he's going to lose.
I hope he wins, and I hope he brings back Josh Alexander and we get the North.
It's not impossible.
I would love for that to be the way that they introduce Josh Alexander. Is like Javon's about to win, Page distracts the ref, C4, we get the North.
I love that.
I think it'd be great. Tag title match that sees Fraxium take on Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura.
Let's go Fraxium.
I think they're going to win, but I think their time with the titles are running out.
Well, especially if Josh Alexander shows up.
That's my point. Next up for the women's title, it's a fatal 4-way that'll see Cora Jade, Bayley, Roxanne Perez all try to wrestle the title away from Julia.
It's a hell of a women's match right there.
It's going to be a fucking banger.
The only reason I don't think Roxanne Perez is going to win is because I think she's going to be on the main roster very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, you know what? Let's shock the world. Give me a Bayley win.
She ain't losing the title this quick. Julia retains, goes into WrestleMania as the champion. I don't think that's in question at all.
Heard.
Women's North American title, Fallon Henley the champion, Stephanie Vacour, the challenger.
Ooh. I think Stephanie is going to win the belt.
Yeah, I agree with you. As much as I love Fallon Henley, I think it's ran its course for her and the influence or whatever the fuck they're called. Jesus Christ. Get down, psychopath. My cats are just jumping off of everything. Fucking desk geet.
Jeff Hardy.
Fucking cat tree. Swanton bomb. Just fucking everywhere. And then finally, triple threat match. The Joe Lopez excitement level is through the roof for this one. The champion Obafemi takes on the challengers Grayson Waller and the Kid Leroy, Austin Theory.
Yeah, I'm more than sure that Obafemi is going to retain the belt here.
Obafemi by murder.
Yeah, it might be a double homicide.
Probably. He's going to stack him, smack him, smash him, dash him, hit him with a little anything you want to think about, and then fucking just pin them both.
It's going to be like at the Waffle House.
It might be. It literally might be. Yeah, I don't think there's a world where Obafemi isn't walking out with the title.
Agreed.
All right. So that
is a good storyline.
Oh, I've loved the story. The story's been fantastic. I've actually enjoyed the story a lot.
Yeah, same.
So I can't say anything negative about the storyline. But yeah, I don't think there's a way that Oben's losing this match.
No.
All right. So before we go, wrestlers of the week, because we still got to do that. I'm going to take Hiroki Goto.
Damn it.
First IWGP title in 5 or 6 tries. So shout out to him winning it at New Beginning.
His first attempt at it was back in like 2007.
Yep.
Like, that's crazy. Talk about a long-term storytelling.
Goto-san.
Yeah, no, I love that for him. It's the most exciting thing I've seen out of New Japan in a long time. For me, at least.
Hey, did you see what WrestleVotes put out earlier today?
Probably not. Why? What is it?
Sources indicate that WWE is planning on announcing WrestleMania's 42 location prior to this year's event, with the highly speculated city of New Orleans, Louisiana, as the favorite.
Whoa, okay.
So
that's one that's reachable for me.
Wrestler of the week.
Shoot. Yeah, I think about this one. Trying to think back. I did watch Raw. I also watched Dynamite. Oh, give me the Hurt Syndicate. They retained their tag titles.
On Max, the one to watch.
Yes. That was actually a good match. That was one of the highlights of that show for me.
I will take the new IWGP Tag Team Champions, Tetsuya Naito, Hiromu Takahashi, Los Incredinobles, Sade Hepon. Fuck the Young Bucks.
You know what? I'm going to take the women that won the tag team opener from Raw this week because that match fucked. That match was fucking awesome. I'm pretty sure it was Liv and Raquel that won, for the record.
I have to go back and look because I don't remember who.
I'm like 95% sure they won
that
match.
Control-Alt-Delete.
Close enough. It was one of the two teams that went in the match.
And Io Sky.
But that match was awesome. I'm taking that just to represent that match.
Yeah, that match was good. Liv Morgan got busted up the hard way though. That cut in her eye was gnarly.
Oh yeah.
All right. Joe, anything before we go?
No, that's everything. This was quick and dirty.
Ooh, baby, I like it raw.
We missed Jim. That's about it.
Yeah, Jim will be back next week. Once he gets his stuff figured out. Obviously, we miss you, bud. For Joe, I'm Mike. Listen to us next week. We will do the fantasy preview of WrestleMania next week. We pushed it back because we want Jim to obviously be a part of that. Follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow me at They Call Me Burn. Otherwise, for Joe, I'm Mike. We will see you next week right here on the Take 3 Wrestling podcast.